All right, GFFL. Some sad news today that Matt will not be joining the live stream from his laptop. We got Week 10 on tap. We got some good games going, some good trades. Wait a second. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, you're here?
Oh, yeah. What's up, man?
Oh, looks like we got ourselves a live show.
Special edition. All the way to North Carolina.
All the way down here. So, we told you guys it was going to be a great show. And this is exactly why. It's only important to us because we're hanging out together. So, this week we got lots of trades happening. So, we're not even going to look at the waiver wire. Plus, we've been drinking all day, so less is more.
And more is also more.
Yeah.
When you're drinking.
So, we're going to dive right into the trades. And trade deadline definitely lived up to its name this week. I'm trying to pull it up here.
First trade was Becker and CD away. I am.
Yes, that's right.
Becker acquired Darren Waller and AJ Rogers for his playoff push.
Right.
I traded away Cooper Kupp and George Kittle and a third-round pick for next year. What are your thoughts on the trade?
Thought it was a good trade for Bob. He, got some more help. Kind of made me a little bit more incentivized to try and add to my team, which we'll talk about that trade briefly here in a second. I thought it was a good trade for him. He got a couple guys that he needed, got rid of injury-prone Kittle for this season. He only had to give up a third-rounder. He got Rodgers. And then same thing for, I don't know how to say his name, CD away I am. He got some good players in that. He got Cooper Kupp, he got a pick, and then, Kittle comes back at some point. We'll talk about this later on, but, everybody's still in it. So, it could be a pretty positive thing for him as well.
Yeah, I like getting George Kittle because I think Kittle gives you a solid keeper at tight end for next year. Darren Waller, also a solid keeper for next year. I value Kittle a little bit higher as far as the tight end position goes. I think he's a tight end behind Kelsey, arguably the second best tight end in the league. Also added depth at wide out and getting that third-round pick. So I like that. I like that trade for both parties there.
Yeah. All right, so the next trade was with Rich. Rich was very busy this trade deadline.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised me for sure. But he made a trade with, I think, is it Eric? I think it's Eric.
Yep.
And, whoops, I clicked on the wrong one.
He traded away Malcolm Brown.
Marquise.
Him too.
He traded away Marquise Brown, his 11th pick, to get Eric's third rounder.
Yeah. So just moving up in the draft. Hollywood is a guy that's been kind of boomer busts.
More so bust, I feel like. But
yeah, I think with Lamar this year, he's not been the Lamar that we've seen for his first, end of his first season last year. He's been a little all over the board, not throwing the ball quite as well, but you do get a huge playmaker there, a lot of potential, young receiver. Again, it's a trade that I think I like for both halves. And like you said, Rich made a lot of moves.
Yeah, so he's sitting at right now, he has Bob's first, his first, my second, his second, Eric's third, CDOA I am's third, and then his own third. Yeah. So, he's looking at 3, 5, 6, 7 picks in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So obviously he's trying to make some moves.
He's loaded up. He's got a lot going on.
All right, so let's look at the next pick, or the next trade, I'm sorry. If I can get it pulled up.
I think that was you and Rich.
Yeah, it was between Rich and I.
Yeah, Rich's second trade.
I'll let you talk about that because I don't want to talk about my own trade.
Yeah, that was a really shitty trade on your part anyway. So Rich acquires Dobbins and your second rounder. You get Allen Robinson and Leonard Fournette. And it's another trade that, I can see what Rich is doing. He's loading up on young guys. He's getting picks. So I don't hate that at all. Dobbins is a guy that, I've talked about a couple times on different shows that I really like. you get Robinson, which is a receiver, a lot of targets, really the only consistent piece in that offense, and Leonard Fournette. So now you have both backs. We talked a little bit earlier. You're just trying to hope one of them gets hurt, which is a horrible thing to say, but you want one of them to get hurt so that you know which guy you can ride with.
Honestly, yeah.
It kind of didn't work out for you this week because you put Fournette in your lineup, and Ronald Jones was the guy that went off. But overall, you added a lot of depth and flex value. So
yeah, that's definitely. I just wanted to swap out. I mean, I hated getting rid of him, Dobbins, but I just felt like get a couple keepers in return. Not really sure what's going to happen with him, with Dobbins. So, I felt like it was a good trade for me, and make a push for the championship this year.
Yeah, and like in seeing Rich's trades, as we talk about them all, like a couple of them I'm not huge on, but as you take the whole body of work and what he did, he definitely set his team up for a really good position, I think, for next year. So I like what Rich did.
So yeah, he has one more trade that we'll talk about, but we'll talk about one more, and it has to do with a Boozy, but not the good Boozy, the bad one.
Yeah.
Tim made a trade with you. He traded Sterling Shepard and Eckler for David Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of funny. We were sitting here, and you were like, dude, like I just got this trade sent to me, and he told me what it was for, and I was like, I don't know how you don't do that. I was pretty surprised.
It wasn't Shepard at first.
It wasn't Shepard.
It was the different receiver, and then I asked for Shepard instead, which the receivers, John Brown. Thank you. We have a third-party producer sitting on the couch, balls out, Mr. Clean. It was John Brown. So yeah, I asked for Shepard instead. Yeah, I'll let you continue to talk about this.
No, yeah. So, anyways, I was really surprised. I'd love to know what Tim's thinking is behind it. And it's even funnier, at least to me, with you picked up the backup to Montgomery, or like the backup to that running back core. It was Nall,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I picked him up like literally 5 minutes before that trade.
Yeah, so it was interesting. You picked him up, and then Tim wanted to trade for David Montgomery, and then Montgomery doesn't play this week, and then you end up with the guy in Chicago anyways.
Yeah, I don't know if he ends up playing. Like, Chicago's all over the board with who they're going to end up playing. I think when Tim made that trade, he was probably hoping that Montgomery was going to play because the verdict wasn't out on him this week. But then I looked, and Montgomery's on bye next week. Eckler's speculated to come back in week 12. So weighing my options, I'm like, well, I might have Eckler back instead of Montgomery in week 12. I don't, I'd rather have Eckler long term, I guess.
Right.
And I've just, I'm over personally over Montgomery, although he is the workhorse. So I can see where Tim's at with that because he is in a midst of a playoff push run. He may want a running back that he can kind of.
One thing that surprised me was that Eckler, when he comes back, he's going to be the guy. You don't know when he's coming back, but I would think he would be a better option than Montgomery, just because, you watch the Bears last few weeks and they just do nothing on offense. I did just get a note from our research that said that Lamar Miller is the guy in Chicago.
Maybe.
So, if you want to elaborate on that or what?
No, Lamar Miller. They just activated him.
So
from the practice squad.
He's ready to roll, dog.
Sorry, our research department is just a new hire.
He's drunker than we are.
He's a new hire, and
watch Lamar Miller score 20
yeah.
points.
So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, so we move to the last trade. It was pretty big trade, I feel like, for Bob and Rich. Rich picks up a first rounder, albeit Bob's team's pretty strong, so maybe a late first rounder. And Bob gets Mike Evans in return, and Mike Evans pays dividends this first weekend.
Yep.
So I think it was a good trade for both. If we're going to be, if we're going to like really dissect it, I feel like Mike Evans is worth way more than that first round pick, just in my opinion. But obviously Rich is trying to do what he wants to do, which is kind of funny. He's building for next year, but he's winning this weekend and still in the hunt to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think with Mike Evans trading for a first rounder, if you're getting a first rounder, you want an early first rounder to get somebody fresh, a rookie, maybe a running back. And the way Bob's playing and as strong as he is, it's probably not going to be until a very late pick. Mike Evans not that he struggled, but early in the season, he's pretty much been touchdown dependent. And then today, I think, was arguably, I don't know fantasy wise if it was his most points of the year, but it's probably his biggest production from a football perspective and touches perspective. For Bob, he had a pretty good week, so I'm sure Becker's hoping that he continues that. He is a little bit of a, not an old receiver, but he is older. So Rich is probably trying, with the moves he's made, he's trying to get younger. So I understand where he's at. I'm sure he was, trying to get a younger or an earlier first round pick than Becker. But to get a first round pick is what he wanted, and that's what he did.
And, with the trades that Bob made, he's looking pretty good. Aaron Rodgers picked up 27 points this week, and then Mike Evans picked up 13. Waller, he had 37, but he still had 5 targets. We always talk about the tight end position that, it's hit or miss, unless you got, the top 1, 2, 3 guys. But it's sort of funny, he had Roethlisberger on his bench. He scored 36 this week.
Well, and the only thing that I will say about Becker now is he's going to have some decisions to make with which quarterback he wants to keep next year, or he can't really keep 2 just because he's so deep at other positions that I think it's tough for him to justify in keeping a guy like A-Rod, or Dak. Obviously you're not keeping Roethlisberger, but now you have 2 quarterbacks really to pick from. You've got a lot of other players on that team that you would like to keep. So I think he definitely made his decisions based on this year. He's going for it, completely understand it, but it's going to make it a little bit tougher, I think, for him next year and the guys that he wants to keep as far as his 8. And then he gave away a couple different picks. So,
yeah,
he's going to have a solid 8, but the picks he's going to get is going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, he's making that push, and he's made a decision to be active. And I'm kind of surprised. Bob's pretty relaxed. He likes to see things play out, but he's making moves and trying to,
And I think Bob has to almost feel like it's a year that he's worth making that push, because to be in the position that he's in after losing CMC for as long as he has, having Saquon out for the season, to be at 6-3 and leading that division, like, you almost got to feel like to get through what he has and still be on top and in a good position for the playoffs, you kind of want to, like, the odds were stacked against you, but you're getting wins. So it's like, I might as well go for it,
Yeah. And then, so, I mean, those are all the trades. I don't think there was really much as far as
waiver wires were mostly kickers.
Yeah, it really wasn't a whole lot.
Nothing crazy.
No, I think it was dominated by the trades this week.
Kellen Balaj, Tim added. I don't know if he started him or not. I don't think he did. That's our producer. That's why he's an intern.
Oh, shoot.
We got a defense, 2 kickers, Balaj, and then we had some other free agents that were added. Nothing, I think, too crazy there, but definitely in a lot of moves at the trade deadline. A lot of guys, I know I was in a couple different trade negotiations that didn't go through. I'm sure a lot of other people were as well. So definitely a lot of action happening, Friday and Saturday leading up to today.
Yeah.
And then that puts us in the state of our league, which obviously kind of surprising, but we thought we'd have a clearer picture. And it's a lot of, Becker 6-3 playing Western PA looking like they're going to come on top of that game. So a 3-6 team most likely going to 4-6. You have Rich, a 3-6 team looking like they're going to 4-6. You have CD away, they're going to 4-6. You have Whitus looking like, he's going to take the front runner, maybe with you. We're in a pretty close game right now. And then also you got a close game with Tim and Mokel. But you got a lot of teams that were kind of the underdogs that are really, really fighting, looking like they may end up pulling out some wins. So the playoff picture doesn't really become that much more clear.
Not at all. I mean, everybody's still pretty much in it. Like we were talking about, a lot of guys going to 4-6. I thought it was more funny, but we have Rich, who definitely was padding his team, or with picks for next year. He's going to pick up a win and go to 4-6. I mean, that's for sure. And then you have what was the other team? And Lance. We talk about Lance's team a lot too, and he's made some trades that certainly look like he's rebuilding, and he wins again. So it makes you wonder if they make these trades, they don't make those trades. If they end up could have got getting their way in and seeing what happens. But I mean, there's two teams right there that and I can't remember if Bob wrote them off for his picks for the playoffs or not. But it's just funny. I mean, they pick up a win, and it's not like they're just like lucky. Lance put up 110, and Rich put up
leading
looks
the
league
league right now,
120,
and probably will be the highest scorer. And I think a lot of that can be kind of attributed to the guys that younger guys this year that you may have on their bench, and you're kind of spot starting them or whatever. But there's just been so many injuries that if you can find the right guy at the right time, like Rich has Swift went off today, 20 fantasy points. Jerry Jeudy, decent game. T. Higgins, monster game. Our producer really likes T. Higgins.
T.
He's made it known a lot. The Saints defense, showing up for him in a big way. And then Kyler Murray, solid quarterback. Obviously he's not getting rid of Kyler Murray, young guy. So you look at Rich's team now with the picks that he's gained and some of the young guys that he's got on his roster. And if he makes the playoffs, he could potentially upset a couple guys, and if not,
sure,
he's in a pretty good position for next year potentially.
Yeah. So I mean, no more clarity on the playoffs. It looks like the worst team's going to be 4-6. Or no? What have we got?
I mean, I might be 3-7, dog. We're in a
pretty yeah. So you might have a stranglehold on the first pick.
I mean, it's boom or bust here for me.
Yeah.
I go to 3-7, lock up that first pick, or I knock off a juggernaut and Hoove and be pretty happy with that.
You might make the playoffs, screw up your whole game plan.
No, that's not my game plan. First game plan is to win.
So, but so a lot of trades this week. No more clarity on the standings and where we are. I mean, it's this has got to be shaping up to be one of the craziest seasons, I think, within the keeper league. I can't remember it ever being this close as far as for everybody in the entire league. Usually there's one or two teams that are definitely out of it by this point in time. But it should be really exciting next week, and just to see the difference. I mean, we keep saying it every week, like,
last 3 weeks.
Hey, maybe we'll see some clarity next week, but certainly no one's going away, no one's fading. So, who knows? Maybe there'll be some teams that'll be looking on the outside, just thinking, man, I can't believe I didn't get in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool because I think like the last week before the playoffs, normally the playoff picture is pretty much decided except for maybe one team, maybe two teams in most leagues. I think this year in this league, and granted for me it's my first year, but I think for this year it's going to end up being you're going to have maybe three teams potentially that come down to what happens in that last week, whether or not they make the playoffs. So it's almost going to be like a playoff week for a lot of guys. So that's going to be kind of cool and exciting.
Yeah. So, and then one new segment that we're going to have a guest come on and talk about how bad he wants to be in the league. Researcher, you want to be in a league?
I always want to be in the league.
This is Stowe. Wants to be in the league. And he wanted to make it known.
Sign me up. Someone quit.
So
he's not that good at fantasy, so we should definitely put him in this league.
Bring him in.
I suck at fantasy.
But anyway, so Bob, there's your it's on record. Stowe wants in.
We have a reserve.
I love Michael Pittman Jr. Make it noted.
So
and he's out.
Anyway, pretty much that's about all we got for this week.
We had to go before half because, as who stated earlier on the show, you will notice we don't have any beers in our hand. That's because we drank thousands before the show.
Yes, that's true.
Literally 1,000 beers. No, it's been a long weekend. We've been here since Thursday night at 3 a.m.
I'm so drunk.
So that pretty much sums up the show. This is probably our shortest episode.
Yeah, we said it was going to be special, but it was just special for us.
Yeah, it was. It really has nothing to do with you guys. So.
We said we were going to plan well. We did not.
Yeah, we did no planning.
But no, it's been great. It's been fun. We have a couple, with the games that we have left. Obviously, there's a lot of good players left on both the Ravens. You got Minnesota playing tomorrow, so there's a lot of good players there too. So there's a lot of guys still out there playing. A lot of games still yet undecided. Be interested to see how the week shapes up. And no bets.
Yeah, no bets.
Because fuck Carolina.
Unfortunately,
Ravens -7.
betting is illegal in North Carolina, so it's been difficult to make bets.
Yeah, so
for him, not for me. I had a hookup.
Yeah, my account got locked down by FanDuel because I tried to break the matrix.
And, Dobbins? Is that
no?
Oh, Gus. Okay, so it wasn't Dobbins. We're good. We're good. So anyways, I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hopefully I end up beating Matt, because if not, that's pretty upsetting. It doesn't look too great for me right now. But anyway,
you're winning. Like, why do you reverse psychology? Oh, he's not looking great. I only have the Ravens and Allen Robinson left. No, you're winning.
Hater. So anyways, you guys have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you next week.
See ya. Fuck off.